We are back with another episode. My name is Aaron.
My name is Colin.
And this is the Sports Hive Show. Woo! Dude, we are close to playoffs. We just got 4 more games, and then we're going to have some playoff football. But we are going to talk games, upsets, and crappy games. Or crappy games, crappy players.
Performances.
That's the word I was looking for. But yeah, we're going to talk about it all. So who's going to win the Super Bowl, dude? After this weekend, certain teams losing that probably shouldn't have lost, injuries that shouldn't have happened but are. Like, we deemed the Colts as probably the team that was going to win it all, but after Daniel Jones goes down with that Achilles injury, where does the NFL... Who's winning the Super Bowl? Who's going to the Super Bowl?
Nobody knows.
Facts. Facts.
But, I mean, out of the NFC, the logical choices would be the Rams, Seahawks, or Packers on like a record standpoint. And then AFC side would only be the Broncos and Patriots.
Is there any other team on the AFC side do you think that can make it? What's the picture right now for playoffs? If the season were to end today, where does everybody sit? Who's in, who's out?
Broncos lead the AFC West. Patriots lead the AFC East. Jags lead the AFC South now. The Steelers lead the AFC North now. And the Chargers, Bills, and Texans are the wild card teams. I mean, I know I said the Texans weren't going to make any noise last week, but...
Bro, they're second in the AFC now with the Colts losing. They're making noise.
Yeah. I'd say either someone out of the AFC South would have to be the third best option behind Broncos and Patriots, whether that's Jags or whether that's Texans.
Or the Colts. If the season ended today, the Colts are not in the playoffs. After starting 7-1, Jonathan Taylor going for all those yards, carries, touchdowns, and Daniel Jones slinging the ball like he's never slung it before, they're probably, most likely, not going to make playoffs. How do we feel about that?
I mean, the Colts haven't really been playing too well the past, 5 weeks. Well, that's including their bye.
Right. No, they started 7-1, and now they're 8-5.
Yeah, so you dropped 4 out of the last 5 in the last 6 weeks. So that's not too good. That doesn't sound like a Super Bowl winning team.
No.
No matter who the quarterback is. And who is that quarterback now?
Phillip Rivers, baby. He's back.
At 44 years old.
He's technically a grandfather.
He is.
Playing in the league now. He's technically on the Colts practice squad as we record today, but most likely going to be QB1 come before the weekend, I would assume.
Yeah, it would only make sense. And his oldest daughter, who has said grandkid, is older than Tyler Warren, his new teammate.
That's what's up.
And when Phillip Rivers came into the league in 2004, Brock Purdy was 5 years old. And they're set to face off against each other in Monday Night Football. If Rivers gets
the QB1 nod.
Yeah, which he will. There ain't nobody else.
There's no reason to sign him if he wasn't going to get the QB1 position. There's no reason to sign him.
Yeah. And he does lose all Hall of Fame eligibility.
Right.
Because he was 5 years on the dot. He was a semifinalist, and he had one more round to go to make it, which he would have. But now, somebody else has got to take that spot, or you just don't feel it. And now he's got to wait another 5 years after today.
I'm sure he doesn't care. He's going to be a Hall of Famer one day, probably in his 60s when he's done playing football. But, dude, do you think the Colts can do anything with Phillip Rivers? Can they make the playoffs, let alone a playoff push?
I would have to see how he plays on Sunday versus the Seahawks, because the Seahawks are not to be trifled with, and that's a very tough ask of a 44-year-old dude that hasn't played in 5 years, who's overweight, to try and win a football game in Seattle, of all places.
Yeah, that's going to be so rough.
So,
I was listening to Sports Trader here in Arizona earlier, and this afternoon, and I can't remember who was speaking, but they were talking about Phillip Rivers, and they were mentioning, his mind is probably fine, and he thinks his body's okay, but he hasn't played football in 5 years, And that's the reality of it. Like, yeah, he could probably play, but how is his recovery going to be? Like, his body's going to fail him, and he's going to realize it these next 4 games.
Well, I mean, the Colts offensive line is also probably one of the best in football, but the Seahawks defensive line is in the top 4.
Yeah, they're very good.
Of best defensive lines. Like, their defense in general, they got a sack, 2 interceptions, a fumble recovery, a block kick, and a 100-yard return touchdown against the Falcons on Sunday. And then the week prior against the Vikings and Brosmer had 4 sacks, 4 interceptions, a fumble recovery, and a touchdown. So they've been pretty good the past 2 weeks. So I'd be afraid for my life.
For sure.
If I was Rivers.
Could you imagine if Rivers only plays like half a game and goes down with a season-ending injury?
Well, emergency QB, Tyler Warren.
Right. But, man, that'd be upsetting.
Yeah, because then he'd lose Hall of Fame eligibility, and he's hurt. So,
right.
Yeah. Womp womp.
And another reason why I think he came back, too, is because Shane Steichen.
Yeah.
He already had a relationship with him on the Chargers.
Yeah, when they're in San Diego.
Yeah. So, I mean, it makes sense, but doesn't make sense at the same time. But it is what it is. Philip Rivers is going to be QB1.
See, he must have really wanted to get away from his 15 kids.
And don't blame him.
Mm-hmm.
Don't blame him. Dude, Eagles. We got to talk about the Eagles. If anybody caught the Eagles game last night against the Chargers, like they sit number 3 in the NFC, and they're going to win their division just because their division is crap. And the Cowboys are probably not going to be able to chase them, especially with their loss this past weekend. The Eagles have a 93% chance of making the playoffs, which they're going to. Do they get bounced after the first game in the playoffs? Or do they make a run just because they're the Eagles? And they somehow win games when they shouldn't win games?
Well, they would have to play. So right now the Packers would be playing the Bears in Lambeau again. Niners would be playing the Eagles in Philly. So... And the Niners have a better record than Philly. So it's very doable for the Eagles to lose first round if the seedings were to
stay the same,
stay where they're at right now. But they won't. They'll change a little bit. But like I was saying, I think last week or the week prior, out of the 7 teams in the playoff picture for the NFC, the Eagles are like the second worst behind like the Niners, Seahawks, Buccaneers, Packers, Rams.
Right.
The only team in the playoff picture right now that's worse than them is the Bears.
It's crazy how these teams, so like the Rams, number 1, 10-3, Packers, number 2, 9-3-1, Eagles, number 3, 8-5, Buccaneers are number 4 at 7-6, Seahawks are 10-3 at number 5, 49ers are number 6 at 9-4, and the Bears are 7th at 9-4.
Yeah, the NFC is very good.
That's nuts. And it's crazy, like the Buccaneers are sitting in the 4th seed at 7-6.
Just because they lead their division.
Right. But Jalen Hurts, dude. How many turnovers did he have?
He had 5, I believe. He had 4 interceptions, 1 fumble. And since 1978, no player had committed 2 turnovers in 1 play before Jalen Hurts.
Dude, I saw that play live. I was sitting with I'm at my buddy's house last night. And I was like, wait a minute. Does that count as 2 turnovers in fantasy football in 1 play?
It sure does.
That's crazy. So he threw a pick. And the guy who picked it off, bigger dude, fumbled the ball because he didn't know how to hold it. And then Jalen picks it up, fumbles it. So, yeah. So there's 3 turnovers on that play, 2 by the quarterback.
Yeah, that's the first time that's happened for a player in 47 years.
That's insane.
And it'll probably be another 47 until we see it again.
Probably.
But I don't know. It could happen. The Eagles and Raiders play each other this upcoming week. So I'm sure that riveting game could have some weird stuff happening.
But the Chargers won that game last night, 22-19. Sealed it off with a pick to win it. So, and then your Bears, not your Bears, holy crap, your Packers.
That's quite rude of you.
Sorry about it. Your Packers pull off the win against the Bears. How do you feel about that?
As expected.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm not just saying this just because I'm a Bears hater and I loathe every single team in this division. But the Bears aren't good as a whole. Their defense gets takeaways, but that's all they get. And they're ranked I think bottom 5 in all like important categories. And they've been winning with the run game, and then Caleb will play as needed. But Swift had 13 carries for 63 yards. Monunga had 14 carries for 57. So together, 27 carries for 110 yards, as opposed to them against Philly the week prior. They both had like 150 yards. So
very wishy-washy.
Their run game gets locked up. They ain't winning because Caleb can't do it all by himself. And he was 19 of 36 or 19 of 35, 186 yards and 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 1 sack, and a QBR of 76. Not good. And then with Love, other than his one weird interception, he completed 17 passes out of 25, 234 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a QBR of 120. Toyota-thon, baby.
That's pretty good.
Go
ahead.
I was going to say his stats in December, well, Toyota-thon time, ever since he became a starter, he's got, I believe, 36 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and just a hair of 4,300 yards thrown, and averages 185 yards a game whenever Toyota-thon's happening. Then he's not so hot when it's not Toyota-thon. So
I guess it's got to be Toyota-thon all the time.
Correct. September through February.
Do you think the Packers have a real shot to win the Super Bowl?
I think so. I don't see why not. I know I was like kind of wishy-washy about it, but now, like the beginning of the year I was confident, middle of the year I wasn't, but then the past like 3-4 weeks, it's been a little bit better just because everybody's getting healthy again. Love is playing well. The defense is being stout on all fronts. Special teams hasn't been an issue for the past couple weeks. And the games that we've lost, special teams was an issue because the 4 games we lost, I believe, were by like 3 or a tie. And each of those games had a missed field goal in them. So
that'll do it.
Yeah, I'm confident that they could win it. I mean, right now, as it stands, they play the Bears in Lambeau in the first round. And then they would play the Niners in the following round. No, they wouldn't. Just kidding. The Rams would. We'd play the Seahawks or the Buccaneers in the following round in Green Bay as well, if the standings stayed the same.
Right. Which they're not gonna. I mean, there's 4 weeks, 4 games.
Yeah, we'll
left.
see. We'll see. I mean, the NFC, I feel like the only team that I feel like could squeak in would probably be the Panthers to just take the division from the Buccaneers at seed number 4.
Right. You think the Lions make the playoffs this year? Right now, they're sitting outside. They're 8-5, and their percentage, 51% probability of making playoffs. I mean, with the Bears and the Packers doing their thing, do the Lions stay in or they stay out? Or stay in or do they come back in? Because the Bears and the Packers have one more game against each other on the 20th of this month.
And the Lions play the Rams in Los Angeles. The Lions are not winning that game. So they'll be 8-6. The Packers play the Broncos, which is doable. Josh Jacobs is 8-0 versus the Broncos from his time on the Raiders. And then the Bears play the Browns, which is not an easy get on a defensive standpoint for the Browns. I think the Lions they're not going to take the division. There's no way. So the only way that they could squeak in is if the Bears start to lose and the Lions start to win.
Right,
so they'll get that 7th seed. It'll be one of those two.
Yeah. But could you imagine no Lions in the playoffs this year?
I hope.
And then on the other side, possibly no Chiefs?
No, it's a no Chiefs. They're sitting at 11%. They ain't doing nothing.
No. 67th, third in the West, so they're not even in division contention anymore. And 11% chance to win. So yeah, no. If anybody comes in and wins and takes that last spot, it's either going to be the Ravens or the Colts that have a chance.
The Ravens schedule is way too hard. They have this.
So we'll segue into that. Ravens and Steelers played, and the Steelers won, beat the Ravens. And now the Ravens sit outside of the playoffs at 6-7, second in the AFC North, 33% probability, while the Steelers sit in 4th seed at 7-6, leading the North with a 66% chance. Does it stay the same? Do you think the Steelers stay the same, or do the Ravens sneak from behind and beat them? Because with the Bengals losing against the Bills, the Bengals shot at making playoffs is pretty much non-existent.
It's still at 1%. They're on the bubble, technically.
Right, but we talked about in our last episode that the Bengals would have to win out, and I deemed that true. So now, after their loss against the Bills in Buffalo in the snow, which was a great game, by the way, I don't think they make playoffs. I think they're done. Done. They needed that win against the Bills to make any kind of noise.
Well, the Bengals, on a mathematical standpoint, they play Baltimore this week, so
that's going to be a great game. Is that in Cincinnati or is that in Baltimore?
It's in Cincinnati.
That's
Cincinnati won the first time.
Right. That's going to be a great game.
In Baltimore. So then you have
handsomely
Baltimore, Miami, Cardinals, and then Cleveland to end the season for the Bengals. So not very hard offenses to go against. Sorry about it.
Hey, well, hold back.
Arizona might have the best offense out of that whole team, though, or the whole schedule left. Out of the Ravens, Dolphins, Cardinals, Browns. Browns are going to be last. Miami will be third. I'm put Dolphins at, not Dolphins, my bad. Baltimore at second, Arizona at first.
Arizona is going to make that Bengals defense look elite. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
If you want your defense to get right, play the Arizona Cardinals. You'll be all right. But, yeah, no. The Browns, though, Shedeur is starting the rest of the season. He just dropped 4 touchdowns, 362 passing yards, 40 fantasy points.
But allowed the Titans to get their second win.
Would allow the Titans to get 29. So we'll see. I mean, I still think the Bengals don't make it. I think it'll be either the Ravens or the Steelers. That's just what I'm thinking.
I got Bengals or Steelers.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Just because, like I said, the Ravens schedule next. You play Baltimore. You are Baltimore. You play the Bengals, who walloped you 2 weeks ago on Thanksgiving. And then after this week, you play, Pittsburgh again?
I think so. All these last games, besides a couple, are all division games.
No, not Pittsburgh. But
so, yeah, they play the Bengals, Ravens and Bengals, Sunday morning.
Yeah, you play in Cincinnati. Then you play the Patriots in Baltimore. Then you play the Packers in Lambeau. And then you end with
the Ravens?
Yeah. So the Ravens play Cincinnati in Cincinnati. They play the Patriots in Baltimore. Then you play the Packers in Lambeau. And then you play against Pittsburgh again, this time at Pittsburgh.
So who's the better? I mean,
that's a hard ask to win any of those games if you're a faltering Ravens offense.
It is, and I think the way the Ravens make a possible dent into making it into the playoffs, and is if they win their game against the Bengals this week. That's a must for both teams. If the Ravens beat the Bengals are surely done. And if the Ravens beat the Bengals are toast. And that gives the Ravens a shot to still make playoffs, especially if they can win against the Steelers. And then the Steelers somehow lose out.
Well, the Steelers...
Because I agree with you. I don't think they're beating the Patriots. I don't think they're beating the Packers. And it's going to come down to this game against the Bengals and the game against the Steelers. Because they're going to lose 2 of the 4. For sure.
Yeah, Lamar hasn't been playing that well either since he's been, quote-unquote, back.
Right.
So I don't...
No faith.
Sorry to our sister.
In the Ravens.
Sorry to our sister, but no mas. Especially since they lost to Pittsburgh this last Sunday. But I get there was weird calls. There always is.
Oh, no, we have to talk about that.
There's actually 2 calls. 2 weird ones.
Well, let's talk about the one that we all know we're going to say. That was a touchdown, was it not? Likely catches the ball, and then he makes how many steps in the end zone?
2.5.
2.5, 3 steps. He has the ball across the plane, holding it with both hands. The ball doesn't move at all. And then the Steelers defender hits it out of his hands. Is that a touchdown, or is it not a touchdown?
I could see where it leans, like in our sister's favor. If that happened to my team, I'd be pissed. Or happened against my team and they called it a touchdown, I'd be pissed. And the Steelers, again, earlier this year when the Steelers and Packers played, I think it was Skaron on the Steelers. He did that same type of catch that Likely did and, had it out just like that. And then I don't remember who it was. It was either Hobbs or Nixon or McKinney, someone in our secondary, knocked the ball out, after, that same amount of steps. But then they had called it a touchdown in favor of the Steelers. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess it just depends on the refs that you got on whether that's called a catch or not.
In your opinion, is that a touchdown?
If it was my team, touchdown. If it was the opposing team, no touchdown.
Okay,
No,
bias aside. It doesn't matter who you're a fan of. Football. You're just looking at football. Is that a touchdown?
I would call it a touchdown from
100%.
From what we grew up on.
Right. I mean, the ball wasn't moving. If the ball was moving, he was bobbling it, of course. Sure. That's not a touchdown. But he had both hands on that ball. And any backyard football game you play with your buddies, that's a touchdown. If you have it all the way out in your hands, kind of thing. And most of the time when you're making a toe tapping catch, most of the time that ball is outside. It's not driven in until the very last moment at the end.
Well, with the toe tapping stuff, obviously you have the 2 feet inbounds, but then even after the fact, you'd have to look at ball control, whether they held onto the ball,
while going down,
and if the ball even remotely moved a little bit and touched the ground, they would probably call that out, no catch, no touchdown, yada yada yada. So in that game, I think it's because he didn't make a receiver or catch type move, because all he had was out in front of him, and so he didn't pull it towards him. I don't know, but obviously it would be different if it was a toe tapping touchdown. I don't know, with stuff like that, toe tapping touchdowns and the ball hitting the pylon or something like that.
So
they are officiated all 3 different ways.
100%. So even let's say QB sneak, and the quarterback goes and hikes the ball, puts the ball over the plane, touchdown, game's over. His feet don't even have to.
Well, yeah, as soon as the ball
crosses the plane, right?
Yeah,
that's a touchdown.
Yeah,
ball crosses the plane, and this Ravens game, he has his hands controlled over the ball. That's an automatic touchdown. Doesn't matter what else happens after that. Whether that's 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, it should be over.
Theoretically.
Touchdown. Period.
Yeah.
End of story. Because most of the time, let's say a running back is trying to dive, and they're not hitting the pylon, but they're diving into the end zone. No matter where their legs are at, when that ball crosses the planes, done.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm confused how it's hard to officiate that type of catch. Because there's different types of catches that we're figuring out. And even the officiating said, hey, we got it wrong.
Well, they got it wrong. I don't know if they admitted to getting that one wrong, but there was on a field goal that Boswell had, I guess there was unnecessary roughness or unsportsmanlike conduct or something called against the Ravens during that field goal. So then they wiped the 3 off the board, and then it was an automatic first down for the Steelers, and then that changed into a touchdown. So then that's what people were also complaining about, is that they gave the Steelers a free 4 points in that regard. But even if they kicked the field goal, they still win by 1. So they just got a touchdown out of it instead and won by 5 instead of 1. So there's 2 Steeler-favored calls.
Oh, for sure.
In that game.
Well, especially the touchdown call. I mean, that's a touchdown. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's always been a weird, what is a catch, what's not a catch.
I don't think the NFL knows what the catch is.
No, because they change the rules every single time.
Right. Okay, well, enough about that. Because neither of those teams are winning the Super Bowl.
Nope.
We all know that. Dude, Jaguars. Let's talk about them. They're sitting at 9-4.
They good.
Top of the AFC South. Can they... Because this year, nobody knows who's winning the Super Bowl, right? There's teams, Broncos and Patriots, best in football, 11-2 record-wise. But anybody you ask who follows the NFL, they have no idea who's winning. I've asked 6 people this past week, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? No idea. Just because of the injuries that's happening, you would think the Colts would be easy favored. Not anymore. Probably not going to even make playoffs. Patriots, are they too young? Are they going to choke in the playoffs? Same with the Broncos. Is their defense going to carry them? Are they going to choke in the playoffs? Bills naturally will just choke, regardless of who they're playing. It's going to happen. But who? Nobody knows.
What's weird is I can't.
So is it the time for the Jaguars to win, kind of year, where it's just some weird team nobody was looking at all year?
There's always one of those weird teams in the playoffs, but I mean, there hasn't really been a year like this in a while. Probably not since the Eagles won the Super Bowl back with Nick Foles.
Right.
So I mean, I don't have a pick, a 100% pick. on the AFC side. But
It could be the Texans.
Yeah, the NFC side, it will for sure either be the Rams, Packers, or Seahawks.
Right.
It has to be. And then the AFC side, the Broncos' offense isn't that good. They just have a historically good defense right now. And then the Patriots' schedule is very weak, as in like they've played all the ass teams.
So they could end up being 15-2.
They could be 15-2, but they could also get bounced out against the Texans in the first round,
right?
Or against the Bills in the first round, what have you. So then the Jags, they seem to be cooking with gas lately,
right? And with the injury to Daniel Jones, they have a clear-cut vision to winning that division now, in my eyes. And then they play. Who do they play this week? They play the Jets in Jacksonville, so there's a dub. They're going to get their 10th win. They'll be 10-4.
You want to know who Houston plays?
The Cardinals.
Correct.
So the Cardinals are going to lose.
Houston's going to get their 9th win.
Yep. So that's... And then the Colts, who are they playing? We just mentioned
Seahawks.
Seahawks.
So
yeah,
Colts
the Colts
will
are not
lose.
going to win.
No.
So the Colts are just going to go further down the line, and instead them going to be the Texans or the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously both could make playoffs, which looks like it could be that way. But it could very well this year be a Texans team or a Jaguars team that makes it out of the AFC. I have no trust in the Bills.
Never.
They're going to choke. They're not going to make the Super Bowl.
Or the Chargers or the Steelers.
Correct.
So Broncos, Patriots, Jags, Texans would be one of the or the final four.
The one that makes the most sense are obviously the Patriots and the Broncos.
I still don't like them.
Same. I can't trust either of them just because they're too young. But we'll see. Who has the best defense out of those four teams we just mentioned? Broncos, Patriots, Jaguars, or the Texans? Because that's what it's going to come down to. Whoever has the best defense going into the playoffs for both sides, AFC and NFC, those squads are making the playoffs, are making the Super Bowl, regardless of what their offense does.
I would say Texans are probably the best, followed by the Broncos, then Patriots, then Jags.
I agree with that.
I may switch to Jags and the Pats, though.
Do you think the Patriots defense is better or the Jags defense is better?
Jags.
Okay. I like it. Anybody could be full of opinions because nobody has no idea what the heck is going to happen. Does Matthew Stafford ride into the sunset after this year, winning another Super Bowl, and then call it quits? Or is JSN and Sam Darnold going to get their first Super Bowl win? Or the Packers and Love going to get their first Super Bowl in quite some time? I'm talking about players, not teams. Or who is it? I think the Super Bowl winner comes from the NFC. I don't think the AFC.
No, the AFC side does not stand a chance against anybody on the NFC.
So I do think the top three are your beloved Packers and the Seahawks and the Rams. That's what I think.
Couldn't agree more.
But, I mean, the Dodgers just won the World Series, so it would only make sense if it was scripted for the Rams to win yet another Super Bowl.
And then my Lakers.
Yes, exactly.
Come June.
Damn it. That's right. Now, the Lakers are really good. And I already deemed them as probably going to the NBA championship. So there you go. Trifecta. Boom. Done. And then you guys suck for a million years after that because LA sports is always good.
The worst the Lakers ever was after, like, Kobe retired. On that weird little in-between.
Yeah. That's true.
No Kobe and no LeBron.
That's true. So, I guess you guys suffered for a couple of years.
Yeah, that's it.
I suffer for my whole lifetime.
Forever. That's what you get for moving to this state, dude.
Yeah, well, I didn't know. Otherwise, I would have moved to LA.
Too expensive. And the people suck.
All right, so let's
see about other games. Was there any other noteworthy games?
And the Cardinals-Rams game was pretty close. 45-17.
On the bright side, though, if you're looking for one, Michael Wilson, he's better than Marvin Harrison.
110%. Wide receiver one, baby, coming out of the woodworks the last 3 games.
I saw
4, actually, sorry.
I think I saw a stat that said, like, if in a 17-game season without Marvin Harrison, and if it was, like, based off of the games that Wilson's been numero uno, he would collectively in the whole year get, like, 280 targets and, like, 200 catches and, like, 2,000 yards and, like, 11 touchdowns.
I believe it because the last 3 of his 4 games He's had 100-plus receiving yards and like 12-plus targets.
Yeah, he had 11 catches on 16 targets, 142 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Right.
Against the Rams.
He has 3 touchdowns this season so far. One was against the Panthers game that we went to, where he got that grab in the corner. And then his 2, obviously, against the Rams. But he's literally the only bright side that we have. Him and Trey McBride are the 2 funnest guys to watch. But we all know the Cardinals aren't going to do nothing. They're already out of it. 3-10. We're just trying to play home wrecker.
Yeah, they were one of the first teams to be eliminated from playoffs. We didn't know that.
We weren't the first. The Giants were.
The Titans were.
Oh, yeah. Titans and the Giants were.
Titans, then Giants, then Cardinals.
So if anybody cares, the teams that are completely out of it, if you aren't following, are the Jets, Browns, Raiders, Titans.
On the AFC?
On the AFC side. And then on the NFC side, you got the Falcons, Cardinals, Saints, and Commanders and Giants out of it. And the Vikings most likely will be out of it with a loss this next weekend. Cowboys probably will be out of it with a loss this next weekend. And then you leave the Lions and the Panthers to probably sneak in if they can. But I think the placemats are set.
Dude. Okay. So I know how you just said the Vikings would be out of it with a loss this weekend and the Cowboys would be out of it with a loss this weekend. But it'd be impossible because that's Sunday Night Football.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, the Cowboys are just going to win and beat the Vikings, so they could just put the Vikings to elimination.
I love it.
That's probably what's going to happen.
And it's in Dallas. So, Cowboys winning that game. They also should have theoretically won against the Lions this last week.
But they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't. They did not. Yeah, another team that should have won this last week was the Bengals against the Bills.
Yeah, no, but they were up by 10 with like 8 minutes left, and then snow games, dude. Snow games mess up a lot of things.
It was just weird because Burrow had like 2 freak interceptions.
One was a pick 6. Mine.
Yeah. And I don't
it back.
Who was it? I think it was Milano or obviously somebody on some middle linebacker just hopped the route perfectly, just right off the line, took the ball right out of the middle between him and Chase, Jamar, that is, and then took it to the house. And then the following play was like a bobbled catch into an interception. And the Bills scored 21 points in a span of 4 minutes.
Pretty good for them.
That'll do it. And upsets. The Saints beat the Buccaneers.
Yeah, we didn't have that in our book.
Nope. Nor did we. The Titans beating the Browns.
No, the Browns. Kevin Stefanski beat the Browns. That's what happened. Stefanski.
He took Shedeur out on that game-winning drive.
Yeah, why would you do that when your quarterback goes for 362 yards, 4 total touchdowns, 3 of them passing, mind you, and 1 rushing? He's playing a damn near perfect game and gets you the tud and then goes for a 2-point conversion.
Without him on the field.
Without him on the field? Really?
I don't get it. He's a hater for
He does not like Sanders.
I don't know why.
He doesn't like Dion. That's the only way you can describe it. That's the only thing. Why else? The other teams in the NFL, your starting quarterback's going to be in there every single time. Who runs a wildcat play without your quarterback on a 2-point conversion to tie the game up to go into overtime?
Stefanski.
Makes no sense.
Which is weird. He's not. He got Coach of the Year a few years ago, yeah?
Right, yeah.
Who was even on that team? Was that the year that they got Watson?
Probably.
I believe. Because up for Coach of the Year was him, Sirianni, and LaFleur. And Stefanski won it because the Browns, Baker.
Yeah.
Baker was their quarterback. And they went to the playoffs for the first time in forever.
Right.
So
that's why he got Coach of the Year.
Exactly. But other than that year,
he hasn't done crap.
Ass. He's not a good coach. So, with that being said, he's fired at the end of the year.
For sure, no, Dion's going to make some noise.
He is fired because you're not going to get rid of Sanders.
No. Shedeur already has proven that he can play football in this league. He's already proven that.
Yeah, but then also you got to get rid of Stefanski. You got to do something with Dylan Gabriel.
Right, because Dylan Gabriel can be a starting quarterback in this league.
And then Watson is reactivated for football activities.
Football activities, air quotes. Yeah. But no, Shedeur Sanders is starting the rest of the season, and his games, which I think are kind of unfair, is against the Bears in Chicago, and then you have it is, but still gonna be tough. Bills in Cleveland, right? And then the last 2 games, Steelers in Cleveland. My phone is loading. The last game is against the Bengals.
In Cincinnati.
In Cincy. So, I mean, those aren't
the hardest game is the Bills.
Right. They're not the hardest games, but they're not the easiest games. But, like, I feel like Kevin is trying to get Sanders to lose all these games to make him look bad so he can go ahead and start Dylan.
I think he likes of next season.
Right. I think he likes Dylan over Shadur, which doesn't make any sense because Dylan in the NFL sucks.
So far.
Yeah, his accuracy is horrendous. My 4-year-old could throw better footballs than he can.
Probably.
In college, when he was with the Oregon Ducks, he was amazing. But some guys just can't move up.
Some Oregon Ducks don't pan out.
Nope. On the Vikings, destroying the Commanders.
Yeah.
Did Jaden Daniels get hurt?
Yeah, he got hurt again. I've been saying this since, like, week 2 after the Commanders and Packers played week 1, and he got hurt. And, like, he hurt, like, his hammy or his leg or something. Jaden Daniels, that is. And they rushed him back for week 2, I believe, against whoever they played. And then he got hurt again. And then was wishy-washy for a few weeks. And then dislocated his elbow, like week 8? Something like that. And he got rushed back again.
What was the injury yesterday?
He fell on that same arm. So I think he re-aggravated it. If it's not elbow, it's shoulder.
Right.
Enough for him to only play a hair and then be out the rest of the game. Well, that's not good. Between Daniels and Mariota, they only threw 24 passes and completed 11 of them. And 108 yards. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions, sacked twice.
I mean, they got shut out, so they were just 3-and-out ball all game long.
Correct.
That's the only way that makes sense. So that makes sense. What was their rushing stats?
23 attempts between 4 people and 107 yards and 1 fumble.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then the Vikings the week before, got shut out by Seattle.
Right. And J.J. McCarthy looks good.
This week
because he came back. But back to the Commanders real quick. Why start your franchise quarterback when you're already eliminated from playoffs?
I guess it's like...
What's the point?
Burrow had said it when people were questioning why he was coming back last week or 2 weeks ago, was because they get paid to play a kid's game and for millions of dollars. So if you're healthy enough... It was probably Jaden's decision also to play this last game.
So if that's the case, then Jaden is retarded too. Like...
Correct. But they've been managing his injury the whole year, as they did with RG3 forever ago. But I don't know. It's just a franchise, I think, that just doesn't know how to manage injuries.
Which makes no sense because isn't there new management for the Commanders since the RG3?
Yeah.
Like new ownership, is that right? Mm-hmm. Was there an ownership
because when there was
that time?
Yeah, because when there was RG3 was there, Shanahan was still the coach, Mike Shanahan, and then Snyder was still the owner, which obviously everybody's gone.
Right, so why does it stay the same? Treatment of injuries stay the same. Is that like a medical call? They didn't get rid of the medical teams or anything like that?
You're not going to get rid of the whole staff just in case, or just because you get rid of the head honchos, because you would have to go hunting to like find...
Well, sure, but I'm just still confused
qualified team doctors and stuff.
Right. I was just still trying to figure out why the injury management is still the same. Like, it's horrendous. Like, there's no way, shape, or form, if I was the owner and or the head coach or the general manager, that I'm putting in my franchise quarterback who has been hurt all year, on and off, and I'm letting him start this game. That doesn't matter. Like, you're already playing for next year. So just sit out, let your team lose out so you have a better draft pick at the same time. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Why you go in there and re-aggravate something that's going to take more time to heal. Because as a player, that would piss me off.
Yeah, you're 3-9 at the start of that game. So then you're not playing for anything other than stats and just to be out there with your boys.
Which I understand the want to do that, because that's what you're wanting to do. That's what you're getting paid to do, and that's what you have the most fun doing. I get that point, but also you got to think longevity ahead. Like, if you're still nursing an injury, nurse it. Like, until it's 100%, not until it's 75%, because when you have injuries and you're favoring one part of your body over the other, the other part that you're favoring is eventually going to get injured, or you re-aggravate that same injury like he just did. So to me, it just doesn't make any sense. Because JD5 can play. He can play football, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really good at it. But he's got to be at 100% before he can play great football again.
It says Dan Quinn said that he could have returned to Sunday's game, but it was the coach's decision to keep the signal caller on the sideline. Quinn indicated Monday that Daniels will be monitored ahead of Sunday's game against the Giants, with the quarterback's Week 15 status yet to be determined.
Gotcha.
So Dan Quinn was looking out for him, but then he's also, I don't know, it's also a coaching thing. And then like when Daniels had gotten hurt, like the first time with his dislocated elbow was also an ass whooping, and he was in there for no reason.
Right.
Mariota should have been in.
I tried the first time his elbow bent like a noodle.
Mm-hmm.
That's
or
right.
Mariota.
Mariota.
Whatever Tarico and whoever else was calling him that night.
I think it's crazy how you can almost go beat the Denver Broncos and then you get completely wiped by the Vikings.
Yeah.
Football's so crazy, dude.
With Justin Jefferson only having like 2 catches for like -4 yards.
Right. Dude, do we think Justin Jefferson's done with the Vikings? Is
I
he
hope
gonna get
so.
traded this offseason?
I hope so. Come on over to the green and yellow side.
No. Just because the Packers are good doesn't mean that you guys are just going to go ahead and sign everybody.
That's the way it works, dude. You get Jacobs last year, you get Micah Parsons this year, and you get a receiver next year, and that receiver would be Justin Jefferson.
No.
Watch it happen. Watch it happen.
He's going to go to the Bengals of any team. He's going to go meet up with the boys.
It. I wish, honestly.
That'd be so much fun to watch.
If he does lead the Vikings, if not the Packers, I would want him to go to the Bengals just to have Burrow and Chase with him. But then
LSU boys.
But then the problem is you're going to have 5 offensive linemen that are worse than they already are, because you can't pay anybody else besides Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson, and Chase Brown. That's all you get.
Unless Jefferson goes for a pay cut to play with his boys again.
Because, if he gets traded, his salary would still have to be paid by the Vikings for the most part. But that's a numbers game that I don't have to figure out.
All right, well, let's move on to Week 15. We're going to do a rapid fire edition to who you think is going to win these games. And no, done with bye weeks. Done with bye weeks. Nobody's on bye starting this week, which is awesome.
Perfect.
Thursday night, Falcons and Bucks in Tampa Bay. Who do you got?
Ooh, Mike Evans is probably coming back.
Yep, division game.
Godwin's also kind of banged up, though, again. Amika's been irrelevant for what feels like
forever.
Yep.
I'm still
going to rock with the Bucks.
Okay. I'm picking the Bucks on that game as well. That's Thursday night game. Ravens and Bengals, Sunday at 11. That's in Cincinnati. Who do you got?
Bengals.
I'm also choosing the Bengals. Sorry about it, but not sorry about it. Raiders and Eagles in Philly.
Pete Carroll's like undefeated against the Eagles.
Is he really?
He is.
I did not know that. Do you think the Raiders make the Eagles lose 4 in a row? The Eagles already lost 3 in a row. Can they make it 4?
Yeah, the Eagles have lost 3 games in 15 days.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it was really good. I'm going to go with the upset on this one. The Eagles are in shambles. The teams have been taking advantage of them lately. So I'm going to go with the Raiders on this.
I am also picking the Raiders. I was already planning on doing that. Cardinals and Texans in Texas.
Texans.
Cardinals. I think we're going to get our win here. We need it. My soul needs it. That'd be great. Be amazing.
We shall see.
Whatever. J.J. Watt's not going to know what to do in this game. Root for the Cardinals, root for the Texans.
He's rooting for the Texans, dude.
Yeah, get out of here. Okay, whatever.
He's only on the Cardinals for like 3
Move on. Chargers and Chiefs in Kansas City.
Chargers.
I am also picking the Chargers.
The Chiefs and Mahomes are just atrocious this season. And even last year, too.
Yep.
They're done. Yeah. Dynasty over.
I don't know about Dynasty over. They're just not playing this year.
No, I think it is over, dude.
If they can actually get like a good running back that's not Pacheco and Hunt in the backfield.
I don't think that's what's stopping them, though.
That and receivers.
Well, you still have Rasheed Rice. You have Xavier Worthy. You have Hollywood Brown. You have Juju. That's the best. Not the best, but one of the better 4 receiver deep rooms.
That's true.
Then you have Kelsey. But Kelsey's probably going to retire after this year because he's played like dick. And then
it could be the whole Kelsey Taylor Swift thing. Maybe that's why they're not playing well. Got that Taylor Swift curse. As long as Kelsey's there, she's there.
Mm-hmm. Moving on.
But, yeah, her album's really good, though.
Anyways,
Bills and Patriots in New England. Who do you got?
This is probably both of their toughest opponents this whole year.
Division game, baby.
Mm.
If the Bills can win it, they could possibly sneak up and take that division. But if the Patriots beat the Bills, the Patriots are going to take sole place. Well, they already have sole place, but I think they win their division.
Well, yeah, they'd be 3 games ahead. If
Right.
the Bills win, they'd be 1 game behind.
So a very important game for both teams.
I'm going to go with the Bills.
Taking the Pats. Jets, Jaguars in Jacksonville.
The Jags.
I'm also picking the Jags. Commanders, Giants in New York.
Giants.
I'm also picking the Giants. Browns, Bears in Chicago.
Browns.
I'm going Bears. Panthers, Saints.
Panthers.
That game's in New Orleans, so I'm also going with the Panthers. Ooh. Lions in LA against the Rams. Who do you
Rams.
got?
Rams.
Me too.
100%.
You think that's going to be an ass kicking?
It's going to be very high scoring. It's going to be like that Rams and Chiefs game
40-41.
forever ago. That
Yeah.
was like
That was a
8
great
years ago.
game. I remember that.
Yeah.
Colts, Seahawks in Seattle.
Seahawks by a million.
I say the Seahawks by 1,000,001. Packers, Broncos. Nobody cares about that game. Titans, 49ers.
No, hopefully it's on at 8 a.m. on Telemundo.
I sure hope so.
Titans
Okay.
and Niners.
In San Francisco.
Yeah, we'll do Niners.
I'm also picking the Niners. Packers, Broncos in Denver.
The Packers are cooking. Broncos almost lost to the Commanders the other day. Then, who did they just beat? They just beat the Raiders, right?
Yeah.
Easy win. Love's a baller. LaFleur, he doesn't really lose in the month of December. Jacobs
LaFleur.
versus Denver. And it's going to be a cold game, too, because it's in Denver. It would be cold regardless. I'm going to go with the Pack on this one, obviously. But it's going to be a close game. I think it'll be like a
You'll be within 3 points
24-27.
type of game, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Broncos just because I want to be different.
That's the game you choose to be different on?
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, go Texans.
But I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers do win that game, though. But I'll go with the Broncos. And, yep, I picked the 49ers over the Titans. Vikings and Cowboys. Sunday night football, baby.
Cowboys.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys win this one, too. And then Monday night football. Dolphins and Steelers. Mind you, the Dolphins have been winning games.
Mm-hmm. You've won 4 in a row now.
Right.
Mike McDaniel might keep his job.
Dolphins, Steelers. In Pittsburgh.
Steelers.
I'm also going to go with the Steelers. I like it. All right.
There's not too many changes in passing leaders, rushing leaders, receiving leaders. The rushing leader might change soon here.
James Cook should
James
run
Cook,
the leaderboard there.
he's 48 yards away from passing Taylor.
Which I don't know, because depending on who is quarterback for the Colts, he might get 35 touches.
He's going to get 35 touches the rest of the year regardless,
Right. So
whether
who
it's
knows?
catches or whether it's runs. Goff is in the top 5 of passing yards now, and receiving leaders more or less the same.
Well, let's end with this. Who's winning the MVP?
I was going to say the leaders for MVP are Stafford, May, Josh Allen now, and Love.
Where's Darnold?
I do not know. He's outside of the top 5.
Interesting. JSN still keeps getting the ball.
Kind of. Jason the past 2 weeks hasn't been. The offense isn't the reason why the Seahawks have been winning the past 2 weeks. It's been the defense and special teams. But Sam Darnold, he's number 6 in passing yards at 3,100. He's got 22 touchdowns and 11 interceptions, sacked 17 times. QBR of 64 and a rating of 103. Love also has 22 touchdowns, but only 4 interceptions, and the only other quarterback to have that least amount of interceptions is Stafford.
Which Stafford threw 3 of his picks in the game 2 weeks ago, yeah? Or 2 of them at least?
2 against the Panthers.
Probably pretty safe to say that Matthew Stafford, if he keeps going the way he's going the next 4 games, is probably going to win MVP.
Yes. I would say so. I mean, he's got, other than passing yards, he's better than May in all categories. He's better than Allen. He's better than Love. So I would say Matty Ice, not Ice. I'm just used to saying
That ain't Matt
because
Ryan.
Matthew Ryan.
So is it safe to say Matthew Stafford wins MVP, wins another Super Bowl, retires, and he's done. Probably what's going to happen.
I wouldn't retire if I was him.
Hasn't been playing since like 2009, the 16th season. I guess Tom Brady went off for forever.
Something like that. Yeah, Brady went on forever. Manning so far has been the only quarterback to retire, at least in our lifetime, to retire after winning the Super Bowl.
Right.
But also the year that he won, he was really good, but then he didn't do good in the playoffs. But also Denver's defense was number one in every category, pretty much. But I wouldn't retire if I was Stafford because his team's balling right now on every side of the ball. So why
for
not
sure.
just go back?
True story. All right. Well, keep an eye out for your teams if they're in the playoff hunt or in the playoffs. Keep an eye out. We'll see if there's any major shifts this next couple of weeks in the NFL. And as we come to a close of the NFL season into playoffs, we'll talk more about basketball and how that's heating up, how our teams are doing good. But if you can go ahead and share this podcast with your friends and family members, we are on Spotify and Apple. That would be amazing. So if anybody who likes football, basketball, baseball, let them know that we're just two brothers in Arizona just BSing about sports. But we will go ahead and see you guys next episode.